Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Shoe Podcast, the only sneaker podcast hosted by the Doobie Brothers. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your co-host, Tanner Young.
For those of you that are new here, do us a favor real quick. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast provider, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Do us a little favor. Check the box. Really going to help us out, small little channel like ours. Now, for those of you with the keen eye, you've probably already read the episode title, looked at the YouTube thumbnail, and you know why we're calling ourselves the Doobie Brothers. Tanner, tell the people what they've won. Tell them why.
Cannabis. It's 420.
I'm going to take just that little sound clip on its own. Cannabis. We're going to send that to Snoop Dogg and pitch him. Hey, you could use this as a sample for a very low royalty, and that's what's going to pay for the podcast going forward.
Boom. There you go. Bless up.
Yes, my friend, the holidays are upon us, and we're here to talk about the footwear that goes along with 420, which admittedly is a little Nike Dunk heavy.
Smidge.
But it'll be a fun one. We're going to do it in a little tier list format here, which is fun for us. We don't get to do this that often. The last one we did, pretty good episode for us. I think it turned out pretty well, so a fun little format we can do more often maybe.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. It's a more, I feel looser, easier, just kind of us going kind of back and forth, either riffing with each other or combined forces applied to the hate of a specific shoe.
I love that. Channeling our energy stronger together than ever. Well, wait, come on, come back.
Hey.
That's maybe the thumbnail. It has nothing to do with the episode content, but that's an adorable thumbnail.
But it's cute.
But it's cute. Speaking of the content, cross your fingers and wow, look at that transition. Look at that segue. Here we are. We got our nice, lovely tier list just beyond Tanner over there. And at the top, we'll have a little preview of the sneakers that we're talking about here. Wow. The first one that we got here, this is Adidas's 420 release for this year. Tanner, remind me the name of this silhouette. This is
the Campus 80.
The Campus 80, and they're calling this colorway Crop. That's what it is. That's what I'm thinking of. Which,
I could see. The Crop, really the hidden, though. You know what I mean? This is a very, under. So, love the name. Love the shoes surrounded in rolling papers.
Yeah.
I mean,
good touch.
Look, I am a absolute sucker for tearaway technology.
You love to see it. You truly do.
That I do.
I just realized we jumped the gun here. We didn't really talk much about the tier list format. But now if you're watching this, that's my fault. I got so excited for everything here. You probably know what a tier list is. The only thing we'll put out there is that Tanner and I do eventually typically need to agree where something lands on the list. We're not each making our own tier list. We're going to see where it ends up and lands on the list here.
Strong one.
But yeah, back to this specific shoe. Really happy to see this. I find that, and we'll obviously cover this later with what else is on the list, Adidas's 420 releases lately have been really good. Very on brand, but not on the nose, if you know what I mean.
100%. One of their better shoes is also on this tier list. So
it is. We'll get to it.
I do like this. I love the little tearaway. I think it's cute. It's funny. It's on brand. You've got the typical hippie stoner tie-dye pattern, on the insert.
Yeah.
Very, very pretty. Interesting move to go with. I mean, on the theme to go with the kind of fuzzy upper green, kind of Nike's thing, which we'll see as a pretty common theme.
Uh-oh.
For the
Adidas catching
listeners.
strays out here. Wow.
Could be.
Yeah.
But I do love that the whole shoe is rolling paper, so at any moment you'd be good. Well, I hope not any moment. I would imagine after a couple wears that paper is going to be...
You should not be putting that in your mouth. I'm going to tell you right now. Not on these streets. You should not be putting this paper in your mouth.
And this one's tough for me because I love tearaway technology. I think it looks good. I love kind of the rough look to it. Not a huge fan of the predominantly green shoe.
Sure.
And, I guess the Adidas more classic silhouettes is fine.
Yeah.
But this is a tough placement for me. I almost want to say C, just because it's kind of the first one, and I kind of know what's up on the list. Could we? Does it have to be 100% right now, or once we fill out a list, can we maybe see?
That's another good point. We got flexibility to move things around in here as we go. I will say real quick before we place it, not a giant fan of the tie-dye on the sock liner there. I get what they're going for. For me, it just reminds me too much of the Nike SB Chunky Dunkies. Not a 420 release, but the tie-dye sock liner just kind of always makes me think of that. But I will give them credit and applaud them for this. This is one of a few handful of shoes, I think, with tearaway technology across any brand, where what's underneath it is so much better than what's above it that like you're really inclined to tear it away. Because sometimes there's a shoe where it's like there's a layer underneath it and you're like, yeah, but the top layer is pretty clean actually. Like the top layer looks really good. I don't really want to mess them up for that. This one,
and then also makes it more, I guess, even adding to that is when you wear this, it's going to very quickly.
It looks like it's a pretty thin paper. Yeah, in all the videos I've seen, it looks like people are like, you might get it started with like a blade, but like you can pull it.
It can just rip it, Because other ones, you can kind of wear them for a good while. This one almost seems like you would have to remove that upper. So what are you thinking? I'm thinking C. Are you thinking E?
I'm thinking B tier. I like these.
B tier. Oh yeah.
I like these. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. To me, it's better than middle of the road, which is kind of what I associate C tier with.
C, for sure. I'm good with B. I'm good with B. I didn't know if we wanted to put them that high, but I like it.
Move it right up there. Watch the snap grid do its thing as it goes. All right, that one's going to be B tier for right now. We'll see how it goes as we go here.
There we go.
Let's see what we got next up on our list.
Who's coming in?
Ooh, sleepers. You might not know these.
Yeah.
These are the Zygotic Cheech and Chong shoes that they did last year. Not technically a 420 release. They did not come out on April 20th, but Cheech and Chong, come on. We all know what they're known for here.
Cheech and Chong, come on.
This whole episode, by the way, is a delicate dance around like how can we not get shadow banned on YouTube? Like what words can we say and what words can we not say? So fingers crossed that you got this in your feed, that the algorithm served you up something and wasn't like the uncool parent that was like, no, we don't do that here.
Yeah. So it ended up releasing like November of last year, 2022. But I did find out that the whole kind of like theme of this year obviously is the Cheech and Chong, but specifically what they called a 420 to 710. And I found out that July 10th is National Dab Day. Which I guess is the more intense version of smoking weed. I feel like that's like the next step.
Okay.
I don't know much about doing dabs other than that it's like a wax.
You might have said too much there. You were on a really good roll with like if your parole officer is watching this right now, it's like, and this whole episode, I gotta say, I really don't even know too much about this. I wanted to talk about the history of air in sneakers again, but Ryan bound me up to come over here and talk about all of this stuff. Yeah.
Shackled me. Classic characters shoe. It is kind of interesting. But I do love like Zygotic's whole premise of their brand to do. I love how the predominantly yellow toe box is supposed to resemble like the dashboard and the car that they're driving. You've got the paisley print, things like that. I see the yellow and red shoe and kind of think McDonald's. That's just the golden archways always in me. And then this one's tough because it's like, if you know it's Cheech and Chong, then you're like, okay, it's a good 420 shoe. But if you don't know they're Cheech and Chong, nothing about the shoe is like telling me it's
screams it at you.
Yeah. So I don't know where to slide this one in. Tough being a number 2.
Yeah, for me, this kind of comes in at C tier. It's tough because it's like this Zygotic silhouette we've talked about a handful of times on this show. We've done reviews on them, unboxings, everything. We love this silhouette in general. but it's kind of like, we got to look at this more so through the view of like this colorway on this silhouette rather than just like
Yeah.
this silhouette for what it is. And so, yeah, from that perspective, I'm like, it's cool. They're doing the whole dizygotic thing, where it's like the shoes are completely different, but it's like, but that's kind of the MO at this point. So I don't like hold it at a higher level for it being a 420 release. So yeah, I think you make a really good point though, where it's like, if you know the story behind them, then
they're great.
But if you don't, you don't automatically get there. And I think there's some other shoes on this list where it's like, if you don't know the story, you can kind of get there, but it's also not a billboard in your face of like, this is what it is, So
agreed. I think C tier, perfect placement.
C tier. C for Cheech and C for Chong, right there.
Oh,
right there.
Boom.
Let's
snap.
See what we got next up on our list. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Nike SB Dunk High Dog Walkers, aka Walk the Dog. There was a TikTok or an Instagram reel not that long ago of like, these are the most clickbaity things, but some guy going around on the streets and it'll be like, if you can name what this shoe is, you can have it or whatever. And some guy called these dog walkers and he was like, wrong. They're actually called Walk the Dogs. I'm here to tell you right now, the internet calls these dog walkers. I don't care if Nike calls these Walk the Dogs. The internet calls these dog walkers.
And that's what's flying.
Rant aside, Tanner, you got a little bit of info on these?
Not much, honestly. Other than, this has nothing to do with 420. It was just so happened that they released it on 420. I couldn't find much that tied it to 420 with dog walking. Do you have more of an insight for me?
I think I have it for you. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Hit the incognito mode if you want to look it up real quick. I think dog walkers is a term for pre-rolls. I think.
Oh,
I believe
that's a cool name.
I believe I've heard that before. Doesn't it? It's cool because we didn't know it. That's what makes it cool. Where you hear you're like, okay, that's pretty cool.
I like that.
So I looked it up. I think that's the association here.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, interesting. Love that. I love that they have wordplay even more.
Yeah.
With disguising it. This one, let's see. 2019. So it was a 2019 release, which does not
I was gonna guess 2017 or 2018 because it feels like it's been longer. That long. I thought it had been longer. Yeah.
No, and they did a very good job. I love the shoe, very funny. You got the dog print. You've got the familiar, that kind of I guess roughed up suede of that green. That is a pretty common theme with the SB 420s. You've got what looks like you stepped in dog poo on that outer sole underneath.
Great detail.
I love it. Also, I think they did a phenomenal job with all of the chuts for this one. Dog leash, a water bowl. You had like Nike SB poop bags, which
there was special box stuff. And then hard. If you can see on the little image above us there, the little hang tag on the back, little dog tag there says Sparky. Because that's a dog's name, but also because you spark it up sometimes, as it were.
That's good. That's good.
And I love the special box stuff. Had the little leash with it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, leash was so good. Leash was hard too. I mean, honestly, that Nike, all of the chuts were great. You had Nike employee dogs, the portraits for the insoles.
On the insoles, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
So it's all Nike employee dogs, which I think is very cute as well.
Yeah.
And so this silhouette, ranking it, I guess not silhouette, colorway.
Yeah.
Feels C tier to me. I think kind of because of the same thought of like the dizygotic. If you know more into it, it's great. Fair. If you don't, you're like, oh, you're just wearing a dog shoe.
Right.
A dog shoe.
It's tough, and I will acknowledge my own bias here. Full disclaimer, we got a dog like 3 weeks ago. And so we got a dog, and I was like, I need a pair of these. I want a pair of these. Spoiler alert, they're expensive. They're still expensive.
Wow.
I guess especially at this time of the year, the prices do not go down. But both new and used, that was really disappointing to find out. So, yeah, personally, I wanted to put these at B tier, but I think I'm looking at it through. Man, I wish I had a good pun for rose-colored glasses, but I'm looking at it through rose-colored glasses, where I'm like, we just got a dog. I can acknowledge these probably should be a C tier. You're probably right on that one.
I kind of have it with the C tier just based on what you said with the dizygotics. I was talking about it. I was like,
the same principles.
I feel like it kind of, I think good shoe. I think a very good shoe.
Good shoe.
But I think I like the add-ons more.
We'll see.
I like the shoe itself.
We've been watching in our house a lot of like detective shows lately. There's like ends up being collusion within the police departments, where it's like cop does something under the radar, but it's like, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. That, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let him put it at C tier right now, but later when he needs a favor, when he needs a shoe a little bit higher the list, this is my bargaining chip where I say, do you remember my old friend, the dog walkers? Let's revisit that conversation, perhaps.
I like that. See, that's the great thing about tier lists. You never know. Give it easy, take a lot.
Yep. Keep that one in our back pocket. Let's see what we got up next here. Ooh, keeping on the Nike SB Dunk High train, these are the Maui Wowies, which we're going to see. I hope we don't end up with just like all 4 of the dunks in a row, but whatever. Let's see what we end up with here.
We shall see.
Maui Wowies, a real Hawaiian theme on these, and as you can see, got the tearaways both in different areas here with different materials underneath them.
Loved it.
Go ahead. You got some details on this one?
A 2021 release. Like you said, the original upper or the top upper. I don't know how we would distinguish upper A, upper B. How are we describe? Top layer.
What part are you? The top layer. I think top layer is the perfect. You would, top layer.
Yeah, that you would tear away just in a lovely blue Hawaiian shirt. Tearing underneath, again, common theme of the Nike SB, the fuzzy green. With just an orange variant of the Maui Wowies. This one I remember wanting really badly, and I do remember loved the top layer way more than underneath.
Oh yeah. This is to the point I made it earlier of the Adidas shoes. This is one where it's like the layer underneath it to me does not look good enough to remove the top layer. Where I'm like, if you look at it removed versus unremoved, you're like, oh yeah, unremoved is like 1,000 times more wearable. I get that it's Nike SB, and so it's like crazy and wild and out there, and especially for a 420 release, it's like we're not necessarily going for conventional wearable, but at some point, it's like I just look at it, I'm like, yeah, it would be cleaner. But even for me personally, the default way they come top layer still a little too loud and too much for me. I just don't. What am I going to match that with?
Yeah, I mean. It definitely is, I guess you can consider it a holiday shoe, how we said with a lot of
It's a holiday shoe. It's a YouTube algorithm, if you're listening. It's a holiday shoe. It's holiday.
It's festive. We give gifts.
You can't ask about it. That's religious persecution. It is a holiday shoe, okay? I need time off.
Exactly. I want to rank this one pretty high.
Yeah.
I think it is. So obviously, you have Maui Wowie. It's based on the strain that it is. Also, you're going with the Maui upper with the Wowie underneath. So everything kind of ties to the shoe. I want to put it high because of how much I like it. So far, this is the one that I've liked the most of the ones that we've talked about. So I want to put it up high, but I'm also just going back to, if you don't know it's a holiday themed shoe, you don't get it.
Yeah. And I want to put it low just because I don't know why. I don't know if it is lazy, but it just kind of feels lazy to me of like, we're going to do Hawaiian print all over. And then like, what's underneath it? More Hawaiian print, but also get this, we're going to do long hair green suede. Cause I don't know if you've caught on yet. Long hair green suede looks like something else, and it's just like, they can't keep getting away with it. How many times are we going to be like, it's long hair green suede? I get it. I get why they're doing it.
Boy, unfortunately.
Now, granted, we just put the Adidas, right. We just put the Adidas at B tier for doing that exact thing. So I realize the hypocrisy. But for me, like, I don't know if it truly is lazy. I don't know why I feel that way, but that coupled with the fact that, to your point, if you don't know what it is, you kind of can't even get there even with a hint.
And
I personally wouldn't wear it. For me, these would be like a D tier, maybe.
Oh,
I know it's going to hurt you. How high did you want to put them?
B.
Do we meet in the middle at C tier?
I mean,
because here's what's interesting. You view these probably better as dog walkers than I view these as worse than dog walkers.
Yeah, but again, it goes back to just that personal bias.
Right.
I prefer these. So
you like Hawaii. I just got a dog. Case closed.
Bam. Maui to the wowie.
Maui to the
wowie.
What is Bow Wow up to these days? You notice they don't call him Lil Bow Wow anymore?
Did he name change? Or is that just like out of respect?
I think it's out of respect, yeah. I don't think he's making like Soulja Coin or like consoles like Soulja Boy is, but what is Bow Wow up to these days?
I hope being
Bow Wow,
like Mike as he can be.
If you're listening, hit the comments, let us know.
Love you.
Ooh, bringing it back to this year. We got another one, good one here. This year's part of Reebok's 420 pack, this specific silhouette we're choosing from it is the classic leather, and it comes in all of these lovely little materials. We just hit this one on would have been the March Rewind April Fast Forward episode, which if you didn't catch it, he remembered to do his little YouTube job. Link at the top of the screen right now. Go ahead and watch that. Every time you get a chance to tie in your existing content, go ahead and do it. Free tip for creators. Okay.
Hey.
But this is part of their pack. They also have a high top silhouette that I am not familiar with the name of, and then the beatnik, which is like their slide. But not to spoil it, we really liked the whole pack. You can hear our whole thoughts in that episode, but go ahead and sing it again, sister.
I mean, it just looks nice. It definitely does not scream it, even though it has like a lot of those very familiar colors and materials to give the look. I mean, you do have the, I guess you could say leaf on that tongue. But man, this just looks like a shoe that would go with any outfit. You could really tie it in. It's not super on theme, but if you know, you know, which I know is, again, kind of like contradictory to what we've been saying about these, but it almost feels like with this shoe, if you know it's Reebok's release, you're like, oh, that's cool. But if you don't, you're still like, I enjoy it. So it's like the opposite of what I would say for like the dog walkers and the Maui Wowie of like, I like that you wouldn't know and you would just think it's a good shoe. So for me, I would say at lowest, I would probably say B tier for this just because I really like it.
And here's what's tough about it. I really like it as well. I think it's a really good looking shoe. I guess there now comes some subjectivity of like, is the tier list ranking it on like how good of a 420 shoe it is, or is the tier list ranking it on how good of a shoe it is? Because if I look at it, I'm like, it's a great shoe. It's something I'd want to wear. I'd want to wear it a lot because it doesn't necessarily look like I'm wearing a 420 shoe every day of the week. But to the 420 theme, you and I, right now, tell me what this shoe's relation to 420 is. I don't
holiday.
Like I kind of get like I kind of get in the colors and the vibes and materials, but like I can't actually put my finger on it. So for that reason, like I want to put it low on a 420 sneakers tier list, but that high, like at the end of the year, this could very well be. It's not on my top 3 sneakers of the year list probably, but like it's still a good one, you know.
I agree. I think that is a good point. My bias of just how much I like this shoe.
It's a good looking shoe.
But I do like the point of like, hey, how good of a 420 shoe is it? And I think for that, I think D tier is a good placement for it.
I'm not going to put it too low, but you know,
you're
not even really, I couldn't tell you this is a 420 shoe and you'd be like, oh, I see it now. I get the vision. I would tell you and you'd be like, okay, if you say so, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
still a good shoe. Go look at picking it up.
Still a good looking shoe. Yeah, we talked in heavy praise about that.
Ooh, wow. Weird the way that the shuffle happens that we're talking about, you know, the sequel before the prequel here. But we got for you the Nike SB Dunk High Reverse Skunk. These were limited to just 420 pairs, as you can see written on the side of the shoe there. Yeah, timing-wise, we should have talked about the original one first, but that's the way the cards fell.
It's more for the plot now.
Exactly. Yeah. You're gonna go back. This is like George Lucas didn't give you the prequels and then the original trilogy. He gave you the trilogy and then went back into the prequels.
Not us.
This is Darth
We're
Vader.
better.
You're gonna get Anakin in a bit. Which spoiler, I guess, if
Oh.
you haven't watched Star Wars yet.
Wow.
That's probably, like the largest spoiler there could be. But at this point, if you haven't watched it, I have to assume you're not interested in watching
You're
it.
not gonna.
Yeah.
You're not gonna.
What year were these? Were these 2020?
Yes.
Because I've kind of remember pandemic craziness, and it was like shoes were crazier than ever. That it was like, great, what if we only made 420 of them of like the probably most iconic S420 dunk ever? And it's like, yeah, perfect. Why? Doesn't matter. Sure, go ahead and make them.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I thought it was also weird to have it on like the side of the shoe. It just doesn't seem like it's just an odd thing to add to that. I get to even more show your rarity or whatever it is, rather than normally they're on like the inside of the tongue or whatever.
Right.
So for that I just remember seeing that when these were coming out and immediately being like, I'm not a big fan of the shoe.
Yeah.
Literally just based for that.
Well, and like if you have an authentic pair of these anyways, you don't need to have the number on the side. Anyone who knows what these shoes are know that you have a very rare and limited shoe. You know?
And then I don't know. I feel like if you get a weird number, like
what's a weird number?
Had 33. I don't know why, but like just 33 out of 420 being like, yuck.
Do you remember at the time there was like, it was either on Twitter or Reddit, there was this great like, internet comes together moment to try and hunt down whoever had pair 69 out of 420.
I don't. And like halfway through this, I was like, I know what he's saying. Oh
I remember the internet sleuthing so hard to figure out who had them and like drive the price up on StockX somehow.
Just trying to crash the market.
Probably like, one of the best memories to come of the COVID lockdown was like that moment bringing the world together.
Everyone just been like, we must find out.
We have to work together on this. Yeah. I don't know if they ever cracked that case. I'd love to believe they did, but
I would hope so.
Yeah, if you don't have that pair, I really don't care what pair of these that you have. Inverting the colorways on a classic does not make a good shoe. These look like, great for midnight bowling or a skate rink or something like that. The green on the bottom is really giving it that pop. Yeah. Laser tag. Do you want the visibility? I don't think you want the visibility on laser tag. You're trying to stay stealthy. I guess it'd be better. Put your kids in them so you can keep track of them.
How do you play? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. What's your laser tag style? Leave a comment down below? ? If you've watched this far and heard that, you leave the comment down below. I will pin it to the top of the comments. Promise you.
What is your laser tag style?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't even know, like, what's an appropriate response? Stealthy?
I don't know either. Akimbo.
Run and gun.
Run and gun. You're just picking Call of Duty classes at that point.
So where do you want to put these?
I almost put these in D. It's not the same purple from
that's a big
original
point.
So it's super bright. It just looks more like cartoonish Nickelodeon, Barney, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for that, I have it pretty low for me as like a D tier.
E tier?
D.
I want to go E is what I'm saying.
You want to go E? Why do you want to go that low? Why do you? Is it
just like, what about it? Like it's, to me, if like I felt a little guilty saying that the Maui Wowies were lazy, these I can like fully be like, this is lazy. This is, but this was also the peak of like dunk hype at its highest. And then you're not retroing, but like you're doing a take on the most iconic and you're making it in the most limited quantity. It's like literally just like a pressure cooker of hype. Like that's all this was meant to be, was just like a giant marketing bubble moment. And so for that reason, I'm like, I don't know. I don't find it's that great of a shoe to begin with. And then you make it in such limited quantities that no one can get it. I guess, release strategy, you could view separately from like the shoe itself. Is it a good 420 shoe? But even then, is it a good 420 shoe? I don't find it particularly to be.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I'm sold on I'm sold on E. I think exactly like you said. It's of a 420 shoe. It's not good. It doesn't hit on that nose, and I don't like it. Like,
Exactly. It's doing nothing for me, Chief. I gotta tell you right now.
Yeah. I'm good with that. I'm good with
Okay.
the trickle
All
down.
right. Let's see. Again, subject to change. So what are we? Ooh, halfway through. Halfway through.
Yeah.
Here's how we're stacking so far. C tier looking heavy. Might have to make the thing a
Yeah.
little bit wider if too much more ends up there.
We'll see. We'll start
Make
double
the,
stacking.
Make the pictures a little tiny. Just put them on top of each other. Okay. We'll see where it goes.
Just remember.
There it is.
Oh, well,
there it is. Okay.
All right.
So we talked about the sequel. Now it's time to talk about the prequel. The original Nike SB Dunk High Skunk. Put some respect on its name.
It's the pinnacle. The pinnacle of 420 shoes.
It literally is. It just is like when people talk about it, if any news outlet makes a list, which they do because we had to scour them to get some inspiration for ours, this is on 10 out of 10 lists.
Everyone's.
It's on every single list, and it's easily in the top 3.
100%. I mean, it really did, I guess, unfortunately set the bar because set it so high. You know, the naming of the shoe, phenomenal. The execution of the materials with the color is just fantastic. The hits to it are just great. This is peak.
There's only one place for it to be, honestly. Say less. Now, I don't know. I need to do a little bit of better homework on this. I don't know if the skunk gets credit for first stash pouch on a shoe or if one of the other shoes on this list does get it. I've heard them both kind of thrown around, and I was not into sneakers enough at the time to know. But this one often gets the credit for having one of the first stash pockets on a shoe.
I would imagine this one did come out 2010, and I think closest like releases, at least on the shoe, is 2018, 2017.
Okay.
So I would say first stash pouch. I mean, and that just became a standard for all other Dunk releases.
Every 420 release from almost any brand. A lot of the other brands are doing
always
it now
has some
as well.
type of
stash pouch is like an iconic part of a 420 release now. So
yeah,
setting that tone. This is easy S tier. Easy.
I agree.
Wow, it really did stack all the Dunks right next to each other. Really put that beat in the middle of the episode. I promise. Please watch till the end of the episode. We'll try to keep it going here.
We know where viewer retention is.
We do. Yeah. Next shoe we've got though is the Nike SB Dunk High Strawberry Cough. Now, you said Maui Wowies were 2021. So were these last year?
These were 2021. However, these came out later in the year.
Right. Okay. These were the ones that had because they were supposed to come out around COVID, but the image of the strawberry coughing, people are like, well, we don't want them to associate it with COVID. And it's like, well, what else would they associate it with? And they were like, no, just later in COVID is all. That he's coughing because of other things, but it's not COVID.
It's not COVID.
Yeah. So, is that a name of a strain, a flavor? If we're trying to stay on the PG side here, okay,
it is. It's specifically sativa, so it is the name of a very popular strain. These came out October of 2021, and then an odd restock a month later. I think just shock drop. These are also a tough one for me when I look at ranking. I mean, again, you got the classic. Fuzzy green, kind of a very common, for sure has been with Nike SB. Now you're seeing a lot with other 420 shoes. Also, just a hardware.
Yeah, that's
hardware.
Like, we'll get further into it. The separation of like, is it a good 420 shoe versus is it a good shoe?
Yeah.
For me, it's like it's not a good shoe. It's not a good shoe because like it's too much to wear, and also translucent outsoles kill me so much. Yeah. They don't look good on this shoe at all. Like,
I mean, looks like a strawberry.
Yeah, but solid white midsole with red outsole would have been great. Would have been fine and clean and would have been a better hit to it. But Yeah, they got the strawberry motif really well. If I remember correctly, I think it has like speckling on the toe box or like
on the
little raised dots on it to
I think all around
the
on
strawberry seeds
on that red leather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of remember.
Let me tell you what. Anyone, if we got any listeners in Ponchatoula or anyone who visits the Strawberry Festival, buy.
These gonna. I don't care what the price is. Buy right now.
Buy.
These gonna hit. These gonna hit.
These gonna hit. To me, I would say C or D is where I lie on these. Obviously, you have the strawberry coughing.
Mm-hmm.
Looks to me more like a fruit. It's just a shoe that's for strawberries rather than the specific strain. So to me, I say D just based on you did something well, but just not the holiday.
It's our shoe. We're gonna put it right here. D tier is quickly becoming the level of like you did one but not the other. You made a good 420 shoe, you didn't make a good shoe. You made a good shoe, you didn't make a good 420 shoe. That's what that little area right there is going for.
It's a good lane for him.
All right, let's keep going. We got to find some more stuff to throw at the top here. And
wow.
this may or may not be it. The Supra, am I remembering this correctly? S1W tree camo?
That's your password.
And that's the captcha I just got sent to my email for my two-factor authentication.
Capital S.
Question mark, exclamation point.
No asterisk, but it says an asterisk.
Yeah, and remind me, were these were a collaboration with Lil Wayne?
These were a collaboration with Lil Wayne. They were a part of what they called their Vice pack. Right. So Lil Wayne, there's actually 3 shoes in this. There's this one right here with the tree camo that has the very familiar flower
tree camo, tree camouflage,
tree camo that we're familiar with. Then it's all the same silhouette of the shoe. Mm-hmm. The other one is what looks to be like spilt codeine. For
cough
any
syrup,
of our
cough syrup?
Yeah,
cough syrup.
If you have a terrible lung disease.
Okay, so there's one for tree camo, there's one for medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. And
one
then
for
the
medicine.
third one.
And then the third vice that Lil Wayne has, Skittles. Just a shoe with Skittle print on it.
You didn't say what could or couldn't be a vice, and you didn't say how serious the vice had to be.
Look, all 3 of them aren't what you would say healthy for me.
Yeah.
But they're great.
If this, if I got to do a Vice pack with Supra when I was in high school, it would have been like, here's the Viva La Bam one, and here's the Hot Pockets one, and here's the Neopets one. Those are my 3 vices. You didn't say they had to be like taboo, Yeah,
they're just all 3 things that are my demise.
Things I cannot quit. I log into Neopets every day. I go get my piece of the giant omelet. Some of you watching remember this. Okay, go ahead.
Go to Hot Pocket.
Go to Hot Pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, flavor? Yeah. Sorry, you said go to Hot Pocket as if I had a slide on here for Hot Pocket, as if you were like, Alexa, navigate Hot Pocket, and I was like, oh yes.
Of course, I have a Hot Pocket.
Growing up, well, see, in high school, here's a little bit of fun trivia no one needs to know. In high school, I was a pescatarian for a brief stint there. So it would have been 4 cheese a lot, and I would slam those back with Vault soda that Coca-Cola used to do, that Coca-Cola does not do anymore. The fact that I was not admitted into an ER at some point for having probably call it 90% diet of 4 cheese Hot Pockets and Vault soda. The fact that my blood moves at a consistent level for me to talk to you today is nothing short of a miracle. Today I would tell you probably the probably pepperoni or sausage. The crust has gotten better on them. They do like the Italian herbs and seasoning on the crust.
So good. I actually just recently overcooked my Hot Pocket.
Ooh,
hard as a brick, inside and out.
You put 2 in the microwave at once? What's your time?
I usually put 2 in the microwave, no sleeve, 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. 3 minutes is pretty universal time. You ever done one in an air fryer?
No.
Something tells me they would come out better. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what your laser tag style is and how do you cook your Hot Pockets. This is the most unhinged episode we've done. We talked about... talked about this shoe for 30 seconds. I went on a 5-minute bender on Hot Pockets where I lost track of time, and now we are just completely off the rails. Supra, huh?
D.
This is this to the point I was making earlier. I hear a lot that like the credit for the stash pocket gets thrown between the Skunk Dunk and Supras, because I know Supras had stash pockets on them. I don't know the history well enough to know which one came first, the chicken or the egg, the stash or the pocket. So if you're listening, feel free to let us know. So these are D tier for you?
Yeah.
I want to put these so far at the bottom of the list. This to me goes back to like you don't need to slam what it is all over the side of the shoe for us to know what it is. This is like every time Adidas was like, what year was it? Was it 2021 where we would get so mad at Adidas, like our own child, where it'd be like, Adidas is going to have a Pokemon collab. And you'd be like, yes. And then they're like, they put Pikachu on the side of the shoe. And they're like, no, I know what Pikachu like. That's not a collab. You bought the imaging rights to like license
you just
it.
Screen printed.
That's kind of what this gives me the vibe of.
I'm good with that.
All the way to F?
Send her down.
F for the fireman's coming. Look out. Set her down. Set her down. Underappreciated comment. Set her down. You had just like the energy of someone that's just spent a Saturday moving a futon. Set her down. Set her down. We're going to have to rotate it or something. It's not going through. Let's see. Down to 3. Who do we got next?
Ooh. Oh, man.
Last year, 2022?
The tally, let me see. I want to say yes, but let me just make sure.
For those of you listening and not watching, what the hell are you still doing here? But you should have been watching this whole thing. I can't imagine anyone is. But the Adidas Towel-y, blanking. What silhouette was this?
I didn't get that.
Does a sneaker podcast for 5 years can't even tell some of the most iconic Adidas silhouettes. The image
Superstar.
Okay, it is the Superstar. The images are real tiny on my end over here, but yeah. So if you don't know, based off of the Towel-y character from South Park, who has a notorious problem, has his eyes on the tongue of the shoe, and when they get exposed to the sun like UV, they turn red. The whole upper of the shoe covered in like that French terry purple towel. Those are the only 2 details I can see. But remind me, were there more little hidden features about these?
No.
The insides of the tongues or the insoles or the heels say, "Don't forget to bring a towel." Somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
In the I think in the ankle and then maybe the insole. It has
stash pouch on these. Yeah.
Staff pouch.
Okay. A couple other details.
Underneath tongue. I guess it was more of like a elastic. It wasn't really pouch like. It was more just like a slide. Very, very odd. These are good.
Yeah. These are so good.
These are, to me, might be wild A tier.
I would easily agree with you. These go right up there in A tier for me. This to the point of the Adidas shoes from this year, where it's like they've been crushing it lately. I don't know if they got like a little bit more laxed around, the policies at work, and they're like, listen, if you have any firsthand experience and could help us design these, we need the help right now.
Please.
So yeah, maybe they stopped snitching internally. I don't know, but they've been, literally you can look at it. In our opinion, they've been crushing it lately more so than Nike on the 420 stuff.
I would say so.
Gauntlet throw, which is wild because like Nike SB should almost like it shouldn't even be a contest. Of all the Nike SB releases in a year, you would say like a 420 release, or if they do a what the, are like softballs for them. Like you should 100%. Be cranking that stuff out of the park. So kind of wild to see them miss, but happens. Maybe they step their game up.
Heavy lies the crown.
Truly.
But yeah, I think this is such a good shoe. I would imagine that Towley is probably a pretty very recognizable character.
Yeah.
South Park being a very, very popular show. That if you didn't know it was a 420 shoe, you could see and make that connection. And I mean, honestly, what a perfect character, because obviously it just looks like it's wrapped in a lovely comfy towel.
Exactly.
And so you didn't have to, you can literally just print the character on the shoe.
Yeah.
But this is how you do that exceptionally.
Yeah. And like, to your point, this is one where you could wear, like, that's what makes this one such a good one to me. You could wear it. And if people aren't familiar with Towley, or if they can't see all the little details, they might just be like, oh, cool shoes. And then you tell them and they see it and they get that aha moment. That's what makes a good one to me. And so this is like way up there.
Yeah. Easily.
I appreciate it. I love it. Adidas, keep it up. Keep it up. Y'all are doing great lately.
Please.
Oh. Speaking of doing great, let's talk about one that's maybe not.
Do you like flowers?
Okay.
I got you, babe.
I got you flowers. There are so many examples like these that I'm sorry that Vans caught the stray of like us needing to put one of them on the list. But let's talk about every single 420 release that just puts leaves on the side of the shoe. We're going to say it without saying it.
There it is.
That's where they go. Okay. We don't need to be talked to so literally. I don't even have like a little joke. I'm just like, listen, and if you're the type of person to wear this because you're like, haha, I like this, come on. Like, have a little depth, you know?
We all, 15-year-olds, they got to buy something.
That's fair.
They just got their first job at Journeys. These are obviously still on the shelf.
Sizes
how are they gonna spend their first company check?
But yeah, I would say, like, if this shoe appeals to you, could we possibly interest you in literally anything else higher on this list? A lot of it's kind of more expensive resale right now, but some of it not. So, you know,
we got you covered.
Yeah, this is so bad to me. This is to the point we were making of Adidas literally just like smacking the faces of cartoon characters on the side of the shoe and be like, do you like this thing? And it's like, yeah, but also like, I don't have a Power Rangers backpack anymore, you know, like I could have interest and be kind of subtle about them, you know?
Very true. Very true.
Last,
of the barrel,
but certainly not least, the Nike SB Dunk mids. Shout out to a mid for getting on the list. White Widows. These, I bought these whatever year they came out. This must have been like 2017 or 2018.
2018, yep.
2018. I remember buying these. I walked into Ruckus. They were sitting on the shelves. Shout out Jalen. That's the first time I met Jalen, was when I walked in. I didn't know they had these. These were back in my my good old fond memory days of like, let me just walk into a sneaker store and see what they have. Because like I'm not getting it shoved down my throat on social media just yet. And I saw these sitting and he kind of told me about them. And I was just like, yeah, the materials are really good. They look really good. I don't have anything in this colorway. Mids, you know, like good gateway shoe to get into high tops, you know, with like, and the strap over the top, sucker for strap over the top. Have the little images printed on the inside of like the little spider and the web. And bought the matching long sleeve t-shirt. So
hard. You
know, I got that fit off one time in a movie theater somewhere, probably. I probably saw something at the Cinemark in that fit thinking I was drippy.
Hell yeah. That damn kid tearing the ticket had no idea what he was getting into.
Sir, if you don't see me, I'm wearing the White Widow fit right now. Also, what are White Widows? Could you tell me? I'm not aware.
Yeah, this is another just based off of the a very popular hybrid strain with the White Widow. So this one, I guess, continues with the SB fuzzy green, but not as
minty. It's got a toothpaste look to it, you know?
Ooh, the sparkle, the shine.
So where do they fall for you?
It's tough because I'm like, I like it. I think it's a great shoe. I love the shoe. But how is it for a 420 shoe? I look at it and I don't get it. I don't see it, but it's a good shoe. And hinting back earlier in the episode, if it's a good shoe, not a good holiday theme shoe, it's got to be D tier.
I hate to see it happen because I love them. And so, like,
Yeah.
if we were doing this list based on just shoes we like, it would look very different. Like, those for me would probably be those would probably be up in B tier. But yeah, I think
Easy.
we gotta follow our own rationale here and be like,
Yeah.
where does it fall? So here's where we end up. Anything you want to move around? Anything you don't like in here?
No, I think I like everything where it is. I think once you kind of establish D tier as that, it's a good shoe, but not a good theme shoe, or a good theme shoe, but just not a good shoe. Definitely helped kind of like solidify where everything else ranks according to it. I think I like it.
Yeah.
I think, we're kind of following, the typical bell curve with a little outlier.
True. That is true.
So I mean, it filled out pretty good.
Literally, you got like your bulk of it right here, 3 above it, 3 below it. That's just kind of the way it worked out. So if you were making your own, maybe not necessarily 420 as the basis, but just like of these shoes, what would you move around where? And you don't have to like go through each one, but just any obvious jump outs to you that you would move around.
Yeah, obvious jump outs. I would put the Maui Wowies in A. I would move them that high. I really like them. I think White Widows, I agree with you, at a B tier. I would probably move the Adidas Campus 80s down.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the 3, I guess, main ones that I kind of see if it was based on just like my preference.
Personal taste.
Yeah. How close is this to you?
I'd probably similarly want to move Dog Walkers up to A tier, Adidas Campus 80s down to C tier, and then maybe Dizygotics, Reeboks, and White Widows up to B tier.
Okay.
Because like all 3 good and, kind of in the vein of what we're doing here, but also like for me, a lot of it is like, I need every now and then a ridiculous shoe, like Dog Walkers. I need a ridiculous shoe, but then I also need my Dizygotics, my Reeboks, my White Widows, and maybe even Classics. my Towelies Superstars there, just on the fringe of getting a little out there.
Yeah.
Stuff that I can wear without being a little too loud, So
I agree. Yeah.
But overall, not mad at it. For those of you that made it this far into the episode, thank you very much. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of our sneaker tier list. For those of you listening on Spotify, we've put a poll in the episode description. Write in and let us know, what do you think is the best 420 sneaker release of all time? Or what is your favorite 420 sneaker release of all time? Is it something on this list? Is it something that we missed? Write in, let us know.
I would love to know if there's anything that we missed.
I mean, there's plenty of other 420 releases because, like, if we probably dug through old episodes we've done, we've probably, similar to like the Reebok pack coming out this year, I think we've talked about other packs that kind of come and go, that don't have a ton of staying power. But as far as like iconic stuff, really, like we said, Nike SB has for the longest time kind of had like easy king of the hill, right? Easy 100%. King of the hill there. So nice to see Adidas, I think, giving them like a solid run for their money.
Agreed. I think having that tally is a big one in their back pocket. Would be very, very interested to see how they're going, and then obviously them with the tearaway now. So very clever.
Well, that's going to do it for our episode today. Thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Shoe Podcast. Again, if you made it this far in the episode, we know you like it. So who are you kidding? Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and follow us through your favorite podcast provider. We're going to tell you how else you can stay in touch. You can check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/shoepodcast. You can support the show. You can find us online at shoepodcast.com. You can find us posted on the IG at shoepodcast. We got the pictures and reels going on there.
Flexing on the gram.
Similarly, over on TikTok now at shoepodcast. And lastly,
you'd like to consume.
Where you're catching the show, probably a lot of the time, YouTube, youtube.com/@shoepodcast. Thank you for keeping up to date with us. Tanner, you got anything you want to let the people know before we go?
Try to learn little small repair things, or how to fix stuff. Like changing the air filter on your car engine. It's a very easy thing. It's a very cheap thing that you can do. Then you have a very satisfying feeling. There's a bunch of small things like that. Feel comfortable with the drill. Feel comfortable that you can just operate a very easy drill in your home. It's a small thing, then now you can fix some stuff. Everything's on the internet. Google it.
Everything.
Boom.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you for catching another episode of Shoe Podcast. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your co-host, Tanner Young.
Catch you all in the next one.